It's May 2nd, 2024, and NS 264 races north with loaded intermodal containers, especially this Amazon Prime container. Amazon is one of the new customers to the D&H. We jump to May 7th, 2024, and 30T comes south with a brand new locomotive in the front. The NS 4803, our lead motor on tonight's train, had only been out of the rebuild shops for 3 weeks. It was originally built in 2001 as NS-944CW 9689. When rebuilt, it was rebuilt with a new cab, new electronics, and new traction motors and renumbered to 4803 along with a fresh coat of paint. This was probably one of 4803's first ever trains led since the rebuild. People say it's sad for the Dash 9s to be rebuilt into AC44Cs XMs, and I understand their point. But at the same time, the units aren't getting fully scrapped. They're kind of being saved and upgraded to last for another 20 years. Later on that night, another 264 races its way north up the D&H once again. For this 264, I wanted to test something out. If you watched the latest Danny Harmon video, you would have heard him talk about reflectors off the railcars, and mostly they show up yellow. Well, he's right, most of them are yellow, but he also said some of them are reported to be white. The only white reflectors I saw on this train actually came off the intermodal containers, on the ends of the intermodal container and on the sides towards the bottom. Next time I test this out, I should do it with a manifest train to see if there's any white sills on the side. As you watch this train, you'll mostly see yellow reflectors, but on the automotive containers, they'll mostly be white. I don't know why it's a change in color for yellow to white. I wonder if the white is for both road traffic when the containers are on the road on a flatbed and just for rail. Maybe it means both. Comment down below if you know the answer. Sometimes I don't make it to the trains in time, just like this 16R here. Nowadays, if I don't make it to the tracks by foot, I'll either beat the train to somewhere else. For example, I beat this train to Afton at CP 587. The train in question we were chasing was the 30T. Here we're at the Route 79 overpass, where the train begins to climb the tedious Belden Hill. I only moved 1.4 miles to the south to Allan Road. I decided to get another shot of it because it was going super slow, and the noise level here was extreme. Even with 8,700 horses on the point, the train still struggled to get up the hill. They made it, but those engines were working hard and screaming. The train tonight was 57 cars in total, and it took it over 4 minutes to clear because of how slow it was going. Once upon a time, the D&H would send pusher engines to help trains to get over Belden Hill. But that was back when the engines were not as powerful as they are today. However, things don't always go to plan, and sometimes trains still get stalled out here on the Belden Hill and Richmondville Hill. Also, not too many of these cars were empty tonight. Most of them were loads with paper product, petrol, lumber for the building industry, and chemicals in those tank cars. The next night, another 30T makes its way south. In charge of tonight's train will be a trio of GE's Evolution Series diesels. When I think of the most successful diesels ever built in North America, there are three engines that come to mind. The first one is EMD's SD40-2. The second one is the -944CW, which is also a GE product. And the third one is the Evolution series of diesels built by GE. At least every Class 1 North American railroad has a GEVO on its roster. And the success isn't just here in America, it's worldwide, with over 10,000 GEVOs roaming the entire world. And that was back in 2017. Can you imagine what the number is now? Here are some of the other countries that you can find variants of the GEVOs in. Brazil, Egypt, and China. All of them acquiring some sort of GEVO. And there are many, many more countries, but we don't have time to list them all, because we got other trains to look at. And nobody could have guessed it, another 30T coming south on that Saturday. For the weekend, Carter joined me once again. I asked Carter if he wanted a bridge shot or a railroad crossing shot, and he chose a railroad crossing. This is Pratt Road in Harpursville, New York. Tonight's power on 30T were 3 rebuilt AC-44C6Ms. The AC-44C6Ms comes from the very successful Dash 9s I talked about. All of them look to be Altoona, Pennsylvania rebuilds at the Altoona shops. How do I know this? Well, here's a little tip and trick for you. Whenever you find a Norfolk Southern AC-44C6M that has the DC to AC conversion logo, a bigger number, and a bigger logo, it probably means that Norfolk Southern rebuilt the units themselves, either at the debunked Roanoke shops or at Altoona, Pennsylvania. And when there's a smaller logo, a smaller number font, and no DC to AC conversion logo, that means it's a Wabtec GE rebuild. It's kind of nice that Norfolk Southern and Wabtec do this, as it allows employees and rail fans to understand where the unit was rebuilt. Our final train in the video came that Sunday evening, and Evan would join me and Carter for an 11R. Yes, not a 30T for once, an 11R, although it looked like 30T because there was no SD60E on the point. Oh, and by the way, this crew would give one of the best horn shows I have heard in a while. Indeed, Carter was right. It was a GE on the point. Another AC-44C6M. And hey, what do you know? Larger logo, DC to AC conversion logo, and bigger number font. The 4084 was rebuilt at the Juniata shops from NSC 40-9 8817 and was rebuilt in April 2018. The second unit in the contest tonight was also a rebuild, an EMD rebuild. This one, NS 1820, started life in November 1993 as NS SD70 2514. In January 2019, the unit was sent to Muncie, Indiana at the Progress Rail shops to be rebuilt into an SD70 ACC with a new wide cab, new electronics, and new AC traction motors. with the 11R going around the corner here. That would end our fun week of rail fanning. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around the bend. God bless. Yeah.